My beloved soul, stop for a moment. Do not rush past this message as if it were just another sound in the endless noise of the world. Something sacred is happening in this exact second, and heaven itself is leaning toward you with urgency. There are moments when the Spirit interrupts ordinary time because something hidden is about to shift in the visible world. This is one of those moments. The atmosphere around your life has been changing quietly, almost like the stillness before a sudden storm. You have felt it. That strange tension in your spirit, the subtle uneasiness that refuses to disappear, the quiet question in your mind asking, why does something feel wrong even when everyone around me seems calm? My beloved soul, listen carefully. This message carries a warning wrapped in mercy, and it is arriving at the precise moment heaven determined you needed to hear it. You did not arrive here by accident. Nothing about this moment is random, and nothing about your presence here is coincidence. Heaven does not operate through chance the way the world does. Every step that led you to hear these words was quietly guided by an unseen hand. Even the pauses in your day, the unexpected delay, the brief moment when your attention shifted toward this message, none of it happened by mistake. There is a reason your spirit paused here. The truth is that something has been unfolding behind the curtain of your life, something you could feel but could not fully see. And the reason your heart has been unsettled lately is because your spirit has been sensing what your eyes have not yet confirmed. You have felt the pressure, the confusion, the subtle heaviness that appears whenever certain people enter the room or whenever certain conversations begin. Perhaps you tried to ignore it. Perhaps you convinced yourself that you were simply overthinking, that maybe the tension you felt was just your imagination. But deep inside, there was a quiet voice whispering that something beneath the surface was not right. My beloved soul, your discernment was not wrong. That uneasy feeling you carried was not weakness. It was awareness. It was the quiet signal of the Spirit warning you that a situation around you was not as pure as it appeared. Sometimes betrayal does not announce itself loudly. Sometimes it wears a calm face, speaks gentle words, and moves through your life with the appearance of loyalty. There is someone near your circle, someone who has mastered the art of appearing harmless. Their voice sounds supportive when others are listening. Their expressions look calm and innocent when attention is focused on them. They know how to stand close enough to learn your vulnerabilities but far enough to avoid suspicion. To the outside world, they look trustworthy. To others, they appear respectful, even kind. But heaven sees deeper than appearances. Heaven listens beyond the tone of someone's voice. Heaven watches the quiet intentions hidden behind polite words and friendly gestures. And my beloved soul, what heaven has observed cannot remain hidden forever. You may not know the full story yet. You may not even know the identity of the one who has quietly worked against you while standing near you. But heaven knows. Every conversation spoken behind your back has been heard. Every subtle manipulation, every distorted narrative, every moment when your name was twisted in a room where you were not present, none of it escaped the sight of the one who watches over you. Heaven has been observing far longer than you realize. The quiet patience of God is not weakness. It is preparation. Because there comes a moment when silence ends and truth steps into the open. Long ago, a sacred line was recorded in Luke 12 verse 2, and its message still echoes through time: nothing concealed will remain hidden, and nothing secret will remain unknown. My beloved soul, this is not merely a line written on ancient pages. It is a living principle woven into the fabric of divine justice. Hidden things do not remain hidden forever. Masks do not stay in place forever. And the truth about what has been happening around you has already begun moving toward the light. The reason heaven allowed you to feel that uneasiness was not to disturb your peace, it was to prepare your heart for what is about to be revealed. Because the moment that approaches is not just exposure. It is defense. You thought you had to defend yourself. You thought you needed to explain your heart, justify your intentions, or correct the misunderstandings that someone else quietly planted. But heaven is whispering something different now. There are moments when the Most High does not ask you to fight for your reputation. Instead, He rises to defend it Himself. When that moment comes, the truth does not emerge quietly. It emerges publicly, unmistakably, and with a clarity that leaves no room for doubt. And my beloved soul, the atmosphere of your life is moving toward that moment faster than you realize. The mask that has been worn near you is beginning to loosen. The hidden intentions that once stayed buried are approaching the surface. Someone who appeared innocent will soon find it impossible to maintain the appearance they carefully constructed. The truth has already started moving behind the scenes, and heaven is positioning circumstances that will bring it into the open. But here is the part that will surprise you the most. The person you least expected, the one whose presence seemed calm. The one who learned your trust while quietly undermining it, their identity is closer to being revealed than you think. And my beloved soul, the moment when the name becomes undeniable, is nearer than you imagine. My beloved soul, the silence surrounding this situation has made it difficult to see clearly, but heaven is inviting you now to look deeper than appearances. The person connected to this hidden tension in your life is not a distant stranger. This is what makes the situation feel confusing. If it were an obvious enemy, your heart would have recognized it long ago. But the presence involved here has been close enough to observe your life from within your circle. Sometimes that closeness appears as friendship. Sometimes it takes the form of a colleague who moves through the same environment as you. In other moments it may even resemble the energy of a relative, someone whose familiarity made you naturally lower your guard. That is why your spirit has struggled to fully accept what it sensed. Betrayal is difficult to recognize when it hides behind a familiar face. This person has carefully constructed a mask. Not a literal mask, but a pattern of behavior designed to appear supportive while quietly carrying a different intention. They know how to speak kindly when you are present. They know how to nod with agreement when others are listening. But beneath that carefully managed surface, another emotion has been quietly growing, an emotion that rarely announces itself openly. My beloved soul, that emotion is envy. Envy does not always look like anger. Often it hides behind smiles and polite conversations. It studies your progress. It observes the favor that rests upon your life. It notices the opportunities that seem to appear around you. And slowly, quietly, it begins to resent the light that shines through your journey. You may have wondered why certain moments felt strangely uncomfortable around this person. Perhaps there were small conversations that left you feeling drained without understanding why. Perhaps there were moments when encouragement sounded genuine but somehow felt empty. These small signals were not meaningless. Your spirit was sensing the difference between words and intentions. And while you tried to keep peace, heaven was watching every detail of what unfolded. Nothing about those interactions went unnoticed. Every sentence spoken behind closed doors, every subtle attempt to distort your character, every moment when your name was discussed without your presence, heaven recorded it all with perfect clarity. There is an ancient promise written in Psalm 37 verse 6 that speaks directly to moments like this: He will bring forth your righteousness as the light, and your justice as the noonday. My beloved soul, this promise means that truth does not remain hidden in shadows forever. When God decides the moment has arrived, the truth emerges with the brightness of midday sunlight. No argument is needed. No desperate explanation is required. The light itself becomes the evidence. And when that light appears, even those who doubted will suddenly see the reality that was previously concealed. The one who has quietly worked against you believed their strategy would remain unnoticed. They assumed that because conversations happened privately, they would never return to the surface. They believed that the subtle manipulation of perception could remain buried beneath layers of politeness. But heaven sees differently than human eyes. Heaven observes motives. Heaven listens to whispers. Heaven remembers every word spoken when you were not present to hear it. My beloved soul, the quiet patience of God has allowed these things to unfold for a reason. When exposure comes too early, people dismiss it. But when exposure arrives at the appointed moment, the truth becomes undeniable. Another promise echoes through this situation, recorded in Isaiah 54 verse 17, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." Notice what this promise does not say. It does not say that weapons will never be formed. It does not claim that people will never attempt to work against you. What it promises is something deeper, that the strategies designed to harm you will ultimately collapse under the weight of divine protection. The intentions may have existed. The whispers may have circulated. The quiet attempts to weaken your reputation may have begun. But none of those efforts will achieve their final goal. Because the one who defends you has already stepped into the story. My beloved soul, heaven has not been passive during this entire situation. Every moment has been observed. Every conversation has been recorded in the courts of heaven. Even the moments when you felt alone, when you wondered if anyone understood the truth of your heart, those moments were witnessed. And now something has begun to shift. The same patience that allowed these hidden intentions to reveal themselves has now reached the edge of transformation. The atmosphere is changing. Circumstances are beginning to align in ways that will bring clarity where confusion once lived. The person behind the mask still believes their image is secure. They still believe the role they play appears convincing. But what they do not realize is that the mask they built is beginning to crack. Small details are starting to surface. Quiet patterns are beginning to reveal themselves. And the truth that once seemed buried is slowly rising toward the surface where it can no longer be denied. You may still be asking yourself who it could be. Your mind may already be reviewing the faces within your circle, wondering which presence carries the hidden tension your spirit has sensed. My beloved soul, the name is closer than you think. The moment of clarity is approaching faster than you realize. And when that moment arrives, the truth will not whisper quietly, it will stand openly where everyone can see it. Because heaven is preparing a moment when your defense will not come from your own voice, but from undeniable truth itself. And my beloved soul, that moment is approaching far more quickly than anyone expects. My beloved soul, there is something you must understand now that the Spirit is bringing this message deeper into your awareness. Heaven has not simply observed your situation from a distance. Heaven has been watching every movement surrounding your life with absolute precision. Not a single moment escaped the attention of the one who guards your path. The conversations you never heard, the quiet rooms where your name was mentioned, the subtle distortions that tried to reshape how others saw you. None of it slipped past the eyes of heaven. While you were simply trying to live with integrity, while you were focused on moving forward with sincerity, the unseen realm was already recording every detail of what unfolded around you. There were moments when you wondered if anyone understood the truth of your heart. Perhaps you questioned whether the misunderstanding surrounding you would ever be corrected. Perhaps you felt the weight of silence when accusations or subtle suspicions floated through your environment. In those moments it may have seemed as if the truth had no defender. But my beloved soul, What you could not see was the quiet patience of God working behind the scenes. Divine justice rarely rushes. Instead, it waits until the truth has matured enough to stand without resistance. And now that moment is drawing closer. But here is where the message begins to turn in a way you may not have expected. Up until now, part of you may have been listening to these words while thinking about someone else. You may have been wondering which person in your life this message could be describing. Perhaps you imagined that this was simply a general encouragement, something meant for many people. My beloved soul, listen carefully now. This is the moment of identity reversal. You thought this message was about someone else. But heaven brought you here because this message is about you. You are the one heaven is addressing. You are the one whose integrity has been quietly tested. You are the one who continued walking forward even when your character was misunderstood. The reason your spirit reacted so strongly to these words is because they were not distant prophecy. They were personal confirmation. Heaven has been watching your life. Heaven has been observing your struggle to remain patient when you could have easily defended yourself with anger. Heaven has been witnessing your restraint when you chose silence instead of retaliation. And that restraint has not gone unnoticed. There is a powerful reminder recorded in Romans 12 verse 19, a passage that carries deep meaning in moments like this. Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. My beloved soul, this message explains something profound about what you have been experiencing. The reason you felt repeatedly guided not to fight back, the reason your spirit resisted the urge to expose people prematurely, the reason circumstances seemed to hold you in silence even when you wanted to defend yourself, that restraint was not weakness. It was divine positioning. Because when God chooses to defend someone, the outcome carries a clarity that human arguments could never achieve. Imagine trying to defend yourself through endless explanations. Imagine exhausting your energy trying to correct every misunderstanding. Even if you succeeded with some people, doubt would remain with others. But when heaven itself steps forward as your defender, the truth becomes unmistakable. My beloved soul, the moment that approaches is not merely about revealing hidden intentions. It is about restoring your reputation in a way that removes every lingering question. Those who quietly believe the whispers will begin to see the truth with their own eyes. Those who listen to distorted narratives will suddenly notice the inconsistencies that were hidden before. And the person who tried to manipulate perception will discover that the story they created cannot survive the light of divine exposure. This is not about humiliation or revenge. This is about justice. It is about truth returning to its rightful place. You may not yet know how this moment will unfold. Sometimes God reveals truth through unexpected conversations. Sometimes hidden evidence surfaces at precisely the right time. Sometimes the very people who once believed the wrong story become the ones who recognize the truth first. But however the moment arrives, it will carry a clarity that cannot be denied. My beloved soul, heaven is preparing a situation where the truth surrounding you will stand openly, and the weight of false accusations will collapse under the evidence of reality. And when that moment comes, something remarkable will happen inside your own heart. Instead of anger, you will feel relief. Instead of bitterness, you will feel peace. Because the battle you thought you had to fight alone will finally be resolved by the one who saw every detail from the beginning. The quiet injustice that once lingered around your name will lose its power the moment truth steps into the light. But listen carefully, my beloved soul, because what is coming next will be even more surprising than the exposure itself. The revelation will not happen in a hidden corner. It will not remain confined to a private correction. God is preparing a moment so clear, so undeniable, that the very people who once questioned you will witness the truth unfold in front of them. And when that moment arrives, every accusation that once hovered around your name will fall silent. My beloved soul, now that heaven has revealed what has been happening around you, the Spirit wants to give you something more than prophecy. Exposure alone is not the greatest protection. Wisdom is. When truth begins to surface and hidden intentions begin to unravel, the most powerful position you can take is not reaction but discernment. The next season of your life will require a different kind of awareness, an inner calm that watches more carefully than it speaks. Because once the mask begins to slip from someone's face, they often try one final attempt to protect the illusion they built. That is why heaven is placing a shield around your mind, a shield made of wisdom. The first part of that wisdom concerns trust. My beloved soul, not everyone around you deserves access to the deepest parts of your journey. Favor on your life attracts two kinds of people at the same time. Those who celebrate it sincerely, and those who study it quietly while wishing they possessed it. Discernment means learning the difference between the two. Pay attention to the energy behind people's words. Some voices will encourage you with genuine warmth. Others will sound supportive but subtly redirect attention back toward themselves. Genuine allies celebrate your progress without discomfort. Hidden competitors often change the subject when your growth becomes visible. The difference is subtle, but your spirit can feel it when you slow down enough to notice. The second part of this wisdom is the strategy of silence. Silence is not weakness, and it is not surrender. Silence can be a form of strength when it is guided by discernment. When someone attempts to provoke explanation, when conversations begin to circle around rumors or accusations, the temptation is to defend yourself immediately. But my beloved soul, not every battle requires your voice. Some battles require patience. When truth is already moving toward the light, speaking too soon can actually slow the process. Silence allows the truth to reveal itself without interference. It allows the contradictions in another person's story to expose themselves naturally. Heaven has been preparing this moment carefully, and sometimes the wisest response is simply to stand calmly while events unfold. Another part of discernment is observation. Watch what people do when they believe no one important is paying attention. Observe how certain individuals respond when your name enters the conversation. Do they show quiet respect, or do their expressions change? Do they become uncomfortable when others praise your character? Observation reveals patterns that words try to hide. You do not need to confront every inconsistency you notice. Simply become aware of it. Awareness itself is a form of protection. The more clearly you see the patterns around you, the less power deception has over your environment. There is a profound reminder spoken long ago that carries wisdom for this exact moment. In Matthew 10 verse 16, a powerful instruction appears, "Be wise as serpents and innocent as doves." My beloved soul, this verse describes the balance heaven wants to place within you right now. Innocence means keeping your heart free from bitterness, refusing to become cynical because of what someone else attempted. Wisdom means opening your eyes to reality without ignoring what your spirit recognizes. You can remain kind without becoming naive. You can remain peaceful without becoming unaware. This balance, wisdom and innocence together, is the armor that protects your spirit while truth continues to unfold. The person behind the mask may still believe their image remains intact. They may continue behaving as if nothing has changed. But something has already shifted in the unseen realm. Circumstances are aligning quietly. Conversations are moving in directions they did not expect. The details they once controlled are beginning to slip from their grasp. My beloved soul, exposure does not always arrive with sudden drama. Sometimes it begins with small moments, questions that cannot be answered clearly, contradictions that others begin to notice, patterns that suddenly become impossible to ignore. As these moments unfold, remember the wisdom heaven has placed within you. Do not rush forward with accusations. Do not try to force the revelation before its appointed time. Your role is not to create the exposure. Your role is to remain steady while truth reveals itself. The calmness you maintain will speak louder than any defense you could offer. And when the moment finally arrives, when the mask can no longer hold its shape, people will remember the quiet dignity you carried while everything was unfolding. You may already be sensing it, the atmosphere around your life shifting again. The tension that once felt confusing is beginning to clarify. The uncertainty that once surrounded certain relationships is slowly turning into understanding. The closer you move toward the appointed moment, the more obvious the truth will become. Those who pay attention will begin to notice it even before the final revelation appears. My beloved soul, the final exposure is not a distant possibility anymore. It is approaching step by step. The truth that once moved quietly beneath the surface is now rising toward visibility. The person behind the mask is standing closer to the edge of revelation than they realize. And the identity that once seemed impossible to recognize. The name is closer than ever. My beloved soul, the moment that has been quietly approaching throughout this message is now standing at the threshold of your life. Everything heaven has revealed to you is leading toward one powerful turning point. For a long time, the story surrounding your name has been shaped by whispers you never heard and assumptions you never created. Some people formed opinions about you based on fragments of truth mixed with hidden distortion. Others simply accepted the narrative they were given without questioning it. Yet while those things were unfolding in the visible world, another process was unfolding in the unseen realm. Heaven was preparing a moment when the truth would step forward and rewrite the entire atmosphere around your name. This is the moment when divine defense begins to replace silent endurance. You carried patience longer than most people could have. You chose restraint when retaliation would have been easier. And because of that quiet integrity, heaven now moves into a new phase of your story. The defense that is coming will not be built on arguments or explanations. It will be built on revelation. Situations will align. Conversations will unfold. Pieces of truth will surface in ways that no one can deny. And suddenly the narrative that once worked against you will begin to collapse under the weight of reality. There is a powerful promise written in Psalm 23:5 that describes exactly what heaven is preparing for you. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. My beloved soul, this promise reveals something extraordinary about the way God restores justice. He does not simply remove opposition quietly in the background. Sometimes He allows the truth to unfold in front of the very people who once doubted you. The same eyes that once questioned your integrity will witness the evidence of your character. The same voices that once repeated uncertainty will become silent as clarity appears. Not because you demanded vindication, but because heaven decided the time for truth had arrived. The table being prepared before you is not a literal table. It is a moment of visible honor. It is the restoration of your name. It is the quiet acknowledgement from others that something about you was misunderstood. My beloved soul, when that moment arrives, it will not require your effort. The clarity will speak for itself. Those who truly seek truth will recognize it immediately. Even those who once doubted will begin to understand that the story surrounding you was never complete. And before this message ends, heaven invites you into a sacred moment of prayer. Not a prayer of desperation, but a prayer of sealing. Because what God begins in the unseen realm becomes stronger when your spirit agrees with it. So wherever you are right now, take a quiet breath and allow these words to settle deeply in your heart. Heavenly Father, guardian of truth and defender of the innocent, we place this beloved soul into your hands. You have seen every hidden moment, every whispered word, every misunderstanding that surrounded their name. You have watched their patience, their restraint, and their desire to remain faithful even when circumstances felt unfair. Today we ask that your justice move forward in perfect timing. Let the truth rise into the light exactly as you promised. Restore what confusion tried to damage. Replace doubt with clarity. Surround this soul with peace as you reveal what has been hidden. And when the moment of vindication arrives, let it be clear that the defense came from you and not from human effort. Amen. My beloved soul, if your spirit feels the truth of this message, allow your agreement with heaven to become visible. Sometimes a simple declaration becomes a seed of faith that activates the atmosphere around you. If you are able, write these words in the comments as a quiet agreement with what heaven is doing: God is my defender. Let it be a reminder not only to others who read it, but also to your own heart that you are not standing alone in this situation. And if this message strengthened your spirit today, you can also support the flow of messages like this by gently engaging with the channel, liking the message or subscribing if you feel led. Not as a routine action, but as a way of helping encouragement reach others who may be standing in a similar moment of waiting. But above all, remember this truth as you step forward into the coming days. You do not need to chase vindication. You do not need to force people to see what heaven already knows. Your role is simply to remain steady, remain peaceful, and allow truth to unfold in its appointed moment. Because the one who has watched every hidden detail of your journey is not silent forever. My beloved soul, the season of quiet endurance is ending. The moment of visible justice is beginning. And very soon, in a way that leaves no doubt about where the defense came from, God is about to defend you publicly.